Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Raising the New Earth podcast. I am Noah. I'm here with Brooke. Hi, Brooke.
Hi, Noah.
And our guest for today, David Dua. David Dua studied for nearly 2 decades and has been teaching for more than 10 years at the Kabbalah Center. He specializes in one-on-one Kabbalistic coaching, and he has students from all around the world. He is an invaluable guide for men and women that are seeking deeper meaning for their lives. He also acknowledges that his students are his greatest teachers, and his goal is to constantly live what he teaches. And I can attest to that since the Vidua has been my mentor and my teacher for many, many years now.
Thank
Brooke.
you. Yes, thank you, Debbie, for coming on. And I told Noah that I just with all of the little glimpses of Kabbalah that I've gotten, we've now had two guests from the Kabbalah Center, Miriam Ashkenazi, who talked with us on Kabbalistic astrology, and then also Rachel Santos, who delved into angels. And I feel like I really resonated with so much of what they said on Kabbalah. And also Noah has given many of her perspectives from a Kabbalistic perspective on varying things that we've discussed on the podcast. So I told Noah, I said, I feel like I've gotten these little pieces of Kabbalah, and I really would love to dive a little bit for myself into kind of the origins and the history of Kabbalah. But also I feel like a lot of our guests that are listening as well, who've kind of heard, these little glimpses to get to better understanding. And I think that like through kind of all of my seeking, I guess, spiritually, one thing that I've kind of come to understand is that, you can look at all of these different religions and spiritual practices, and they're often just different languages, if you will, that are pointing to a deeper spiritual truth that is universal. And so from what I have, been able to be introduced to Kabbalah, I see it as a beautiful language that does point to that deeper truth spiritually. So thank you for coming on and giving your perspective. But I would love to just get a better understanding, I guess, first of what Kabbalah actually is, what its origins are. I know that it's often, and this is kind of what I always thought of it as, is Jewish mysticism. Is that an accurate term? So just your perspectives there on the origins and what exactly it is.
First of all, thank you for having me. Thank you, Brooke. Thank you, Noah. And really wish this podcast a lot of luck and God willing that a lot of people will listen to you girls. I know that you're making a big effort. Now, about Kabbalah, you asked me many questions in one question.
Right.
So I will try to put it in the right order. That first of all, Kabbalah never meant to be for only Jewish or non-Jewish people. It's universal. Now, the Kabbalists knew that all the time. And we know that in what we call the Old Testament or the 5 books of Moses, the word Jewish not even mentioned once. There is a tribe called Judah, Yehuda, but it's not about the Jewish people. Okay? So the knowledge, it's universal, which means, and that's why Karen Berg, about 50 years ago, Karen passed away, I think, it's like this 9th of Av will be 3 years. Karen opened the door for everybody because that was the real purpose. Because it doesn't matter if a person is from Europe, from Africa, from China, we all groups of souls, right? That there is something in common between all of us, right? We all want, to be happy. We all want, to live good life, stress-free, okay? There is a lot of things in common between all of us. Yeah, it's true that the outside, the body look different. But Kabbalah is not about how we dress. Okay, it's not about, okay, you know, if I will dress black and will have a big hat and a long beard, that's mean that I'm spiritual. Okay, or I'm a guru sitting on the mountain, that's giving me the, per se, you know, I know better than you and I'm spiritual. That's not, Kabbalah is about really it's a knowledge that help every person that desire to do spiritual work. Okay, the origin that we base the knowledge on is few books. One of them is called the Book of Formation, that it's related to Abraham the Patriot. The Book of the Zohar, that we know it's related to a great Kabbalist that called Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. There's another Kabbalist, his name is Diari. He lived around 500 years ago in Israel, in the city of Sefat. And those Kabbalists reveal universal principles, okay? That what you told me before, you're right, you know, all the religions, they have something in common, okay? But at the same time, we have to understand that, unfortunately, the biggest war in the world happened because I belong to this religion, and you belong to that religion, and, you know, so what's the purpose, right? Because we want to get to the purpose. Right. So I'm going to surprise you that the purpose of the Kabbalah Center, it's not even to teach Kabbalah. We're using Kabbalah in order to get to our purpose. Because according to the Kabbalists, this is the easiest and the shortest way. What is our purpose as organization? And that was the logo. That's the Rav and Karen, the Kabbalist, okay? Is to help people to elevate their consciousness to a place that we can get to a level of, the Rav used to call it Kabbalist Rav Berg, and maybe you see the picture I have in my house, those three Kabbalists. It's from this side, I don't know, it's me, right to left, that's Rav Berg, Kabbalist, Rav Breinwein, his teacher, and this is Rav Breinwein, okay? The purpose was to reach to a level of human dignity, that no matter what you do, okay, like that I will be able to control myself, right? We all have different desire, we all different people, we're coming from a different background, we living different lives. And the Kabbalah is saying something amazing, right? Two people meet. What's happened at that moment when two people meet? Can you answer?
What's happening?
Yeah.
When they meet?
Yeah, you know, you meet a guy right now in the elevator, right?
Yeah.
He's super handsome. What happened?
Well, I'm married.
What's going on in your mind?
Well, I think I would say that in general, like if you're meeting someone, you know, you may not help it, but you're obviously going to make some judgments of, you know, kind of of their different perspective. Yeah. Yeah.
Right away. It's
like the first impression.
What do I want from you? You will say, oh, you know what? You will say, you know, what do I want? And he will say what he wants from you. All the time, you know, when there is interaction, the Kabbalah is saying we disconnect from the light. We disconnect from the universe because we become selfish. Automatically, we become selfish. There is forces in the universe that Kabbalah teach about it. But if I am aware of it, I can control more of my mind. And I can say, you know what? Okay, so he's super handsome, but what can I do for him? Not what I want from him. Okay? It's a different approach. Okay? So Kabbalah, by the way, I don't know if, probably no, I told you, but Kabbalah, it's come from the word lekabel, which means to receive. Okay? We all creatures that we want to receive, not only food and not only good time, okay, and not only a soulmate. There is endless things we want to receive. Now we have to ask one question, like we look today at the reality we live in. And humanity is far away from getting what we should receive. And there is a question, why is it this way? Right? And this is where, Kabbalah comes. Okay? So Kabbalah just want to, Kabbalah is like to put the truth in front of us and to allow every soul, every person, to go through that journey of life with different tools that the Kabbalah Center offer, okay? Again, it's not tools that the Kabbalah Center invented, but it's tools that the Rav and Karen Kabbalists, they were able to interpret it from different books, okay? If it's, the Zohar, Book of Formation, the Hebrew letters, for example, okay? But again, it's all work toward the same purpose, okay? It's a little bit selfish. It's a different selfishness, okay? Usually when we're selfish, I think, when I look at you, I think, okay, you know what, Brooke, what can I get from Brooke? It's selfish. But also there is selfish of what can I give you? Why it's selfish? Because I know if I'm going to give something good to you, it's going to come back to me. But that's a positive selfishness. Mm-hmm. Okay? When I learned that, I was amazed. I said, you know what? That's what I'm looking in my life. I want to stay selfish. But again, the most important, what's really, make my decision to be part of this organization is not the teaching. It's about really because there was a lot of things in my life that I wanted. Okay? And those tools, this technology helped me, took me from A to B in way more short time, with way less mistakes. Okay? That usually when we don't know the law of cause and effect, right? If I don't know how to drive, still there will be consequences. And today the information is there. So I'm not sure if I answer, but just more or less.
Yeah. Well, I think you've definitely, it's definitely clear that, it's not a religion per se, and it's just it's tools that will allow you to find your deeper purpose. And universally, that seems to be that when we give to others, it comes back to us as well. Is that kind of like in a sense, like
in a way,
a part
yes,
of it?
like the boomerang effect, right?
Mm-hmm.
But not necessarily it will come direct to me. Okay? I give you an example. Let's say, you learn Kabbalah and you are more in control. So what's going to happen? Let's say you're now dealing with extremely difficult situation. You will learn to control your reactive system, your reactivity. Okay? I give you like, I have a student that is doing the AA program, which is one of the most challenging program, very well known around the world, right? I'm not sure the initial, Anonymous.
Anonymous.
Alcoholic,
Yeah.
something like that. So one of my students went through that program. Mm-hmm. And why I'm saying, I have a lot of appreciation to this program because they're helping people to quit doing negative things, okay, like to themselves. Kabbalah is different, okay, because if you pay attention, those people will tell you, I am sober for 5 years, 5 months, 5 hours, they counting the moment. In a way, they are still very reactive, but the alcohol become the devil, right? Kabbalah saying something else. The alcohol is not the devil, okay? If I will learn a technology, how to control myself, I will be able to have a glass of wine and also to stop myself, right? So the whole approach of the Kabbalist is about doing the internal work without any fears about what's around me. If it's drugs, if it's, alcohol, because obviously we are very curious people, right? We are here to experience life. Again, I'm not here to promote drugs, okay? But somehow the creator decided that there will be drugs on this planet, okay? I'm not saying, go and be a drug addict, okay? I know a lot of people say, you know what, I want to experience, okay, here, there, but, I even have a student that not long ago, he asked me about, it's called ayahuasca, right? I give you an example. We all know ayahuasca, not in United States. Even in United States, you can go to a priest or certain places, even though it's drugs and it's, we can say, I'm not here to, speak about the law, but it's not maybe 100% legal. But one of my students asked me, what should I do? Right? Well, so I said, listen, it's not a Kabbalistic tool, but I'm not going to tell you not to experience it. You understand? The first law of Kabbalah, it's mean no coercion, right? I cannot come and say, you know what, let's say you are Christian, let's say you are Buddhist, let's say you don't believe in God. I don't have the rights to even think that I'm better than you. Okay? You want to experience? Go ahead, experience what you need to experience, and let's see where it's take you in life. So my student came back, he said it was horrible. Right? And I said, probably you did something wrong. I heard people that they had great experience with that. I never had this experience, okay?
Yeah.
But just to help you and the people that are going to listen to this podcast, okay, that, Kabbalah is very, very deep, but at the same time, my teacher, Karen Berg, she wrote a book. It's called Simple Light. Like, how do you know you connect, right? How do you know you are in the right way? When it's become simple. Okay? When it starts to be complicated, how you say plonter, like confused, chances you are on another path.
Yeah. I love that. Just the boiling down of, simplicity. Yeah. But yet we get in our own way so much. But I think like what you described with alcohol, and then even if you want to do something like ayahuasca, which ayahuasca, especially in particular, I've heard positive, it can get you to higher consciousness levels. It's used a lot in the spiritual community. It can also be really, people have terrible experiences on it. It's a drug. But it's kind of like going back to that deeper intention of it, like that the experience itself is neutral and it's more how you're filtering it through your lens. Would you say that's accurate? Or
but the Kabbalah is saying, is that the only way to get to experience elevation, to feel high, right?
Right. Yeah.
Right?
It doesn't need to come from
my
without
kids, I feel high. I don't have to go far. Okay?
Right. Yeah.
Parents that my kids in the camp, I'm thinking like, wow, miss them already. I see, there is many ways to get high. One of the things Kabbalah teach, why most of, and most of the people, I'll share something with you that personally blow my mind. A lot of students of Kabbalah, they come and go. Why they not? They take the basic classes, or they study for 5-6 years, and then life go on, and they might study with something else. Or so a couple of years ago, we brought a company, and they did a research for us to check with students of Kabbalah that they are not in touch with us anymore, with the organization that called Kabbalah Center. And the survey was if they still applying the tools that they study, if they still applying the technology. And close to 90% of the people said yes.
Mm.
So for us, that's huge success.
Right.
Understand? So I would say, again, we speak about ayahuasca. I'm thinking like, what's going to happen if all of us going to experience ayahuasca at the same time? Right? We know it's going to be a disaster, right?
Yeah, probably.
It's really, like I cannot, like, I don't know, like, not that I'm a control freak and I will say, you know what, I need to control my life, all the time.
Mm-hmm.
No, but I'm saying, a lot of weird things can happen if, I don't know if you ever experienced going to do those, it's great parties, right? We used to call them bush parties, right? You call it like that in English? Like when, like teenager or young 20s, young adults, they go, they do drugs, they do this, they do that.
Yeah.
Listen, we all have to experience life, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think, what is amazing about Kabbalah and about this knowledge, every soul in the world will meet this knowledge at the right time to that soul.
Mm-hmm.
Which means it's not about me now talking to you, okay? I'm not trying to convince you, by the way. Every soul will go through different experience in life, okay? And there will be a moment that that soul will say, you know what? I want to study Kabbalah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So go like with that and with the origins of Kabbalah, because I don't, for me, like in some way, in some regards, and like the history, doesn't really matter. It's more about the aliveness of what is there now. But at the same time, I think it's fascinating to see how different pieces tie together, and that you have these threads, even through different religions, of how, I don't know, I feel like the truth was always there. And like with you saying that, there were like Moses, like the book of, and this is where I don't really have that firm of a grasp of like Old Testament, stories and knowledge, but I guess I'm just like, so would you, like, how much of those ancient Kabbalists is I've seen some like the tree of knowledge and the tree of life. I think of like Adam and Eve, and I know that Noah has spoken about like the house, or now I'm forgetting some, but like stories that are in the Old Testament. So I guess my question is like, are there Kabbalistic teachings within the Old Testament, and do you feel that just kind of got lost in translation in a sense, to where people
okay, so
what are
I
your
guess maybe I get you, maybe I'm not. But Kabbalah, it's a way of interpretate the Bible. Okay. The Kabbalah is saying that the Bible is a code. Okay, like it says, okay, the universe, the creator created the world in 7 days. It's a code because what does it mean to my life? Why would I be bothered to read a story about this guy that hit the rock and the water came out of the rock? I live here in Boca Raton. I need to pay bills. I have so many things to do. How it's going to help? So Kabbalah, the Kabbalists, it's been revealed to them, right? All the meanings of those codes. Okay. Now, what is amazing about how it's been revealed to them, there is a place in Israel, in the north, in a place of the north of Israel called Galil. Galil, it's like, let's say you live in let's say you live in New York, or you live in a certain area, okay? So there is a place in the north of Israel called Galil. There is a cave there. that 10 Kabbalists was gathering, and it says because among them there was a very unique energy. It's called unconditional love. They were able to draw all the knowledge of the universe. Imagine like Wikipedia or Google, right? Today you need to go on Google, right? And you say you have a question, right? Google gonna answer. You know, it's very interesting. And even the geographic location that's called Galil in English mean tube or pipe. So back in those days, that's why spiritual soul used to go there, right? Just because, you know, if you were there and being in a level of unconditional love, which is a very high level of consciousness, you would be able to draw, you know, knowledge. Now, regarding history, what you say. So it's true, there is history, right? We all have history, because I was a baby and now I'm not a baby, right? It depends, you know, it depends for a man, you know, a man, when he don't get what he wants from his wife, automatically we behave like babies, right? So we are still babies because sometimes we don't get what we want. But seriously, Kabbalah don't deal with history. We don't look at those stories as it's happened thousands of years ago. Kabbalah is about now. Okay, like we're taking the knowledge, okay, and we thinking how I can make the best use of this story, of this interpretation. Like the way Kabbalah, for example, look at time, because history it's belong to the way we understand time, right? So, you know, it's very interesting, and I learned it only in the Kabbalah Center, what I'm going to share with you. The idea of time, it's in Hebrew, we call it Zman, right? And it's come from the word azmana, to order, right? Let's say you go to a restaurant, right? You get a menu, you're ordering food, right? So time, history not exist. Like what, you know, the whole Kabbalah idea is like, what do I want to order to my life according to my desire? And again, personally, to me, it changed all my understanding, my perspective about, you know, life.
Yeah. Yeah, you answered that so beautifully, because I think that I'm speaking personally for myself, but also I think I've heard, you know, this universally as well, that a lot of times people kind of reject religion and, I mean, you know, Christianity, or because you try to connect in with these stories and take them at the literal sense. And it's like, what does this have to do with my life? Like, how is this going to help me transcend into a, you know, better human, more fulfilled, you know, however you want to, you know, say that. And what I'm hearing from, you know, from you, and like, and what I resonate with is that it's not about the history. Like, the stories are there to reveal universal truths, and stories are a way to connect in, but there's always a deeper meaning and interpretation. And it's taking those stories and explaining how that they can apply to making your life more connected, more spiritual, more. So I think that would you agree with that? That
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, they either gonna get discouraged from religious, or either not, because religious is the easiest things to sell, right? I don't know if you know, you go to any hotel, in any hotel room. I don't know if Airbnb do that, but in every drawer, every room have a Bible,
Right.
right? It's kind of the bestseller book in the world. It's the Bible, okay? And as I said before, you know, a lot of people, they are in this stage that for them, and it's okay, for them it's like the Bible is history, The Bible is tradition. Okay, like Jesus used to do this, it's history. And the Jewish people will celebrate Passover or any holiday because my parents and my grandparents celebrate it, or if you are Muslim or whatever religion, it's very easy sell.
Yeah.
Very easy. Most of the people, that's why, a lot of, that's why the Kabbalists, I'll share with you something that, we don't even call our worship place a worship place or a synagogue or a church. We don't call it a church or synagogue. We call it the war room, where we connect. We call it the war room. Why? Because a person needs to know we are in constant war. Me with myself, with my consciousness. Before I met you, before I met Noah, before I met my wife, but Kabbalah just come and put the things in the most simple way. But again, I'm not here, I cannot judge that guy or that family that they go to church, okay? Where I live here, behind me, there is a huge church, all Judah church, whatever, it's huge. Yeah, so all those people, they are in that stage, and that's okay. Probably I was there. Who knows? Past lifetime or past life, I don't know. Maybe it's okay. Okay, it doesn't mean they are bad people. It doesn't mean they are negative people. Okay, it means they are in a different place. Let's call it in the spiritual development. Okay, but again, it doesn't make me better. Okay, the Kabbalists don't look and say, "Wow, you know what? Look at me, I'm studying and I apply Kabbalah." I'm like, no, maybe it's work for them. It doesn't mean it's like we have to be very sensitive. And it's another thing that why the Kabbalah Center open to everybody. Okay, it's important that people that listen, they will understand, because one of the biggest challenges that exists today in the world is because humanity experience lack of sensitivity. That's the main disease that exists today. Like, we're not only when something gonna happen to me, I will take action, right? You know what I mean? But if it's happened to somebody else, it doesn't bother me. And one of the things, we learn from the Kabbalists, from today it's Michael Berg, Monica Berg, that they're leading the center, is about to develop that sense of being sensitive, to really, again, to take time every day to feel where is the other person, what's going on with their life. Not only to be, okay, only I have to pay bills and I have to work hard and I have to do this and that. Sorry if I make you confused, but
And we've spoken about it in a few episodes before. I think it was with Rachel Santo. And we said that Rabbi Berg, the Rav, when he got a newspaper and he saw a title of something going up overseas, he said, if it's going on overseas, it's going on here and we need to help. So it's never someone else's problem. This is our unified problem. It's always our sensitivity to help other people. And the non-judgment, being in Kabbalah for, I think I've remember Kabbalah for maybe 14 years now, I was dragged literally by the hand by my friend and dentist, Igal, because I have lost my way. Growing up in Israel, I understood that I light the candles for Shabbat because it's Shabbat, and I meant to light the candles because my grandma did it, and my grandma's grandma did it. But there was no one to answer the questions that I had. And the one main question was, but why? Why do we sit down during the Seder, during Passover, and read the Haggadah? Why do we do it? What does that mean? And not even one single person in my family, or even the expanded family that were, rabbis in Tzfat and all that, no one gave me the answer that satisfied my soul. And so I was lost. I came to LA, I did my thing in the entertainment industry, and my friend noticed that. It's like, okay, he looked at me, he's like, okay, you're a lost soul. He brought me to the center, and I've never looked back. It has brought such a sense of purpose, sensitivity, collective energy that people seek when they go to a retreat. So you go to a retreat far away from your home, you go for a week, you feel this elevation, but then you come back, and then what? How do you deal with life? And Kabbalah gives you the tools, the very powerful tools to deal with life every single day and to live in that, we say the 1% and the 99% that David is going to expand on. We can live a spiritual life in this non-spiritual realm and have absolute certainty that we are going to be the vessel for the light wherever we go. And that has changed how I approach show business as well, how I approach meeting people. I am the vessel for the light. What can I do for you today to elevate your day? Not what you can do. Even this morning, I had a callback, I had an audition, and I had to meditate before that to summon the angels and ask the creator, please allow me to be the vessel for the light so I can share my gifts in the most how would I say, the most in a way that I can receive the most light for the sake of sharing and not for the sake of me, alone. So that said, David, can you expand on the 99% versus the 1%? What does that mean?
Okay. What does it mean? The 1%, 99% is terms that Kabbalist Rav Berg named them. There is 2 dimensions to life. There is the physical dimension, where whatever we see, we just see, we just see the physicality, but we don't see the energy. We don't see what's inside, like take, for example, a herb, different plants, right? I can look at it and I say, wow, you know what? It's good, but it's beautiful, but what is it good for, right? Kabbalah, the 99% is like, it's like the third eye. We want to get into the energy. We want to understand the energy. That's why people feel lost. Not only you, Noah, not only me, not every human being we meet, we are all lost and found. It's like we are these souls that the Creator pick us up and say, you know what? You remind me a story in Los Angeles. I have a student that 10 years she passed by the Kabbalah Center in Robertson. She never went inside. She all the time would look, say, wow, that look interesting place. What is it? She moved to San Diego and she took classes in San Diego, right? It's the journey. The 99% is really like our soul. Like I look at what do I see? Okay, some people are born, better looking, more attractive. But what we really want in life, what we're really attractive to in life is the 99%, is the soul. And I will prove it to you. Take the person that is the most attractive in the world, man or a woman, all right? Doesn't matter. Let's say you are a woman that like women, you are a man that like men, no problem, right? Kabbalah Center open the door to everybody. Now I'm going to share something. Please don't judge me about it. Let's say that person died, right? The soul left the body. Are you still attractive to them? Right? Probably not, right? Like you're not going to kiss them and hug them and take them to bed, right? Why? Because what we really attract to is we attract the soul. And the 99% is really to connect, right? That's why we say, we're looking for the soulmate, right? That's what we want. We don't like, okay, you know what? The pleasure of the body compared to the pleasure of the soul, we cannot even put it on the scale. Now, you also mentioned about, when you had question, you ask why. And one of the things in the religious world, maybe today it's different, but they train not to ask questions. They train not to ask why. It's exactly the opposite with from the Kabbalah Center. You know, we've been trained to ask any question, and it's not about the answer, by the way. It's about just ask, because that's how we're going to get to where we need to get. The question why, it's the most annoying question, right? The most annoying, right? Why this? Why that? You know, you go with your kids and they ask you, Daddy, why the sky is blue? I have no idea, right? Right? Like, but it's not about the answer. It's about asking question is about desire. Just so we know, first of all, it's about desire. And that's why Kabbalah encourage to ask question. The question why is the question that connecting us to the light, helping us to understand, wow, when I ask why, I can draw the answer right away from the universe, from the air around.
Anything, whether it be a religion or science or the way the world is presented, that you're not allowed to ask questions, to me is a huge red flag, because that's the only way that you really get to understand the deeper essence of anything, is to constantly question and constantly kind of get to your own understanding of what the truth means. So I love that. And I think I resonated a lot with what Noah said too, with just having I grew up Christian, but my parents weren't particularly religious. But I had a lot of questions. A lot of things did not make sense to me and I couldn't get answers. And it wasn't until I started it was really yoga that got me introduced to more of a spiritual understanding of things. And it's just kind of, snowballed from there. But, and I've brought this up on the podcast a lot too, that, coming back to Christianity and what you've said with Kabbalah and the message of Jesus Christ, in my perspective and understanding, I believe he's pointing to being the vessel of the light. And I think that has been misinterpreted, to say the least, because, going back to, like, there's been wars fought over religions. I mean, the things that have been, the horrific problems that have been created over religions is something that, as humanity, we should all take a deeper look at and say, where is the connection here? Where can we see? And just for anyone who is Christian or has come from that background, I would say, start looking at the teachings of Christ through a lens like the Kabbalists teach. And even when I was learning yoga, I was like, oh, Jesus must have gone and studied with the Buddhists. But now I'm like, well, he was Jewish. So he probably, in all reality, was a Kabbalist. Like I've even said, like, he was a Jewish mystic. Like he saw things a little bit different than what was being taught at the time by the mainstream. And he was trying to point, back to the vessel within yourself and the divine light within yourself. And so I just, I think that being able to have this perspective and understanding and you explaining Kabbalah, and that it's all about the questions, and there's these different, universal truths that you can just come to understand, like the 99% versus the 1% we're seeing. It's just, I think it's so beautiful how it just all ties to a truth.
We're all going to get to that place, in one point. Okay, the Kabbalah is saying we are not far, we are not far. And that's why, I'm doing what I'm doing. You girls do what you do, everybody contribute, by the way. Every soul in the world, every creature we see contribute. But again, there is a journey. We have to go through that journey. Okay, it's not like one man job, with all the respect to Moses, Jesus, and Muhammad. Okay, that they are names. Okay, we all have to go through that life story, life journey. And I really hope to, again, not to convince, but that it will create an opening to the audience, to, just to open the mind. Because again, we just touching the iceberg, right? The tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
Today.
I have a question. So why is there negativity in the world in the eyes of Kabbalah?
It's called Midah Keneged Midah. The world was created in a balanced way. You cannot have, if you want to taste something sweet, if you want to be happy, you want to understand what is happiness, you have to understand and experience what does it mean sadness, right? Because let's say I have a friend that now experienced something sad, and I'm like, I don't get it. What are you saying? What you said about, right? No, there is kind of duality that the universe was created. And many times our true desire is awakening because of the negativity. When in your life everything is smooth, everything is perfect in your life, and your parents, just provide you everything you want, right? And it's look like you are a child, right? Sugar daddy, that you have everything. By the age of teenager, you're going to do drugs. You're going to do all these horrible things. Why? Because that's what you desire. Take a lot of people that they extremely successful today. They come from the most negative places in the world, right? Because their parents couldn't share anything with them beside love. And what happened? Boom, it's create huge desire to a lot of people. So the Kabbalists look at it not as good or bad. We need the negative side. It's part of us. It's something that exists, right? Every person, as Kabbalah teach, we just here, we're learning to recognize my negativity. But through that negativity, it's what really pushed me to change. And that's why, it's a force that was created.
I love that. And what you mentioned before, someone that grows up with everything and not earning anything, I think it's a concept that's called bread of shame, right? Those that haven't experienced, the other side. So I have another question. Can you speak a little bit about how in Kabbalah we are taught that we are choosing our parents? Can you speak a little bit about that?
That's a reincarnation. That's a lot of things. We're choosing our parents, right? It sounds like weird, but the Kabbalists explain that souls reincarnate in groups. There is the group of the family, there is the group of the extended family, there is a group of the friends, okay, like where you went to school. So why we choosing our family? Why we choosing our parents? What's behind that? And the Kabbalah is saying that two people that call mother and father, we choose them because this is the two souls that going to help me on a spiritual level, on my tikkun, on my correction the most. Okay? Simple as that. Like there is the whole description if it's in the Zohar or by the Kabbalists, that they showing this before the soul come here, they showing the soul, listen, you're going to be with these souls. That's what you're going to go through. You can choose this, you can choose that, you have the free will. What do you want to choose? The soul will choose what is good for the soul. And many, many times, even though on the 1%, a lot of situation between parents and kids, but the inner energy, from the soul aspect, this is the two souls also, again, brothers and sisters, is that those souls that gonna help me with my spiritual journey.
It's a very powerful
What-
concept.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think applying that to what you said as well, of the concept of like, there's really no bad or good or negativity. Like, I think when, like, I guess my question would be like, what if you have parents that are abusive or neglectful? You know, how could you answer that to someone that they actually chose that situation?
So I'll share with you, you know, first of all, it's horrible, yes.
Yeah.
It's something that painful. And we know about kids that they don't have a free will, right? No parent's gonna let his kids cross the road. He's 3 years old, right? They don't have free kids coming here. The first stage of kids, it's no free will. They're gonna eat what the parents serve them. They're gonna watch on TV what the mother or the father put for them on TV, right? No, they cannot choose for themselves. What the soul choose for them, it's according to the law of cause and effect. Now, it really depends what that soul, I'm not talking about that child that it's look 2 years old or 2 months old, or no, that soul had a life before, and according to what that soul did, how that soul treat others, okay, that soul going to be reincarnate. I'll share one story that I have a student that there are many brothers and sisters in this family. And her father is very, very educated. He's a professor in university. And out of all the brothers and sisters, all the time between that father and that student, it's a horrible relationship, abusive relationship. And she's telling me, you know, if I will tell it to his student or to his academic friends, nobody gonna believe me, right? But for some reason, she as a soul had to go through that, because there is interaction between these two souls. Not that I'm coming to support those actions, but one of the things I want everybody to understand, we really don't need courthouse. The universe is a courthouse, okay? Why two people will be involved in an accident, right? What's the reason? There is a reason. It's an opening story. Same here. That soul reincarnate is now a baby. What we see, it's a baby, but it's a soul. And between that soul, and it can be the mother or the father, there is a story. Now, if the father or the mother never study Kabbalah, they don't know how to control themselves, what's gonna happen? There will be a child abuse. Today, there is child abuse. There is even animal abuse, right? There's a lot of abuse. So just to understand the power of Kabbalah, right? That it's really to help people to gain self-control, even if right now I recognize, right? You know, it's right away. You know, parents can tell, you know, wow, you know, why I like this child more than this child, right? All the time in the family, we have one more favorite child, right? And I don't like this child. This child give me more hard time. But if I'm not studying Kabbalah, I will punish them. I will do this. I will do that. Because again, I need to understand, I have a story with that soul. My story with this soul is different than my story with the other soul, my other child soul. And when we don't know that, this lack of information, it will bring a lot of reactivity that can be, unfortunately, abused.
Would it be fair to say that Oh, go ahead.
No. One of the things I want to share that Monica Berg, she's putting a lot of effort now in the root program that we used to call it the children program. I actually don't remember. Yeah, something like that. But really, it's not only for children. It's really about helping families, helping parents, helping kids to as much as we can to prevent those situations.
Yeah. I was going to say, what would you say it's fair to say that it's like, it's kind of like this karmic wheel that can just keep happening, where it's like cycles of abuse and trauma. And then it takes like a soul who's kind of like, I've had enough of this, constant, and maybe they're children who just have a better understanding than some adults, like that just come in with that spiritual understanding there, or they are adults that have just gone through so much of their own pain, where they say, regardless of what happened in my past and my childhood, I'm going to make different decisions, and I'm going to and become a seeker and an understanding of my behavior. And that's where I think Kabbalah or can come in, and help reframe.
Wow, it's not something intellectual. Okay, a lot of intellectual people, they can be very, very dangerous, very dangerous and out of control. The German people was super intellectual people, not only against the Jewish people, against all the world, right? Very, very powerful people, very intellectual. But yes, there is the will. By the way, a great book to read is The Will of the Soul by Kabbalist Berg. And yes, there is something that called karma. Every person, right? Like, it doesn't matter where you're going to go around the world. You have your karma. What does it mean, karma? According to what I'm doing, according to how I behave, that's how things going to be. But let's say if I did something negative, which, by the way, we're still doing negative things every day, right? We're judging, we're jealous, we get upset, we get angry, we do negative things, right? Even people that practice in Kabbalah 25 years, but less and less, or we are more in control. So there is a karma. There is a karma. And what we learn in the courses of Kabbalah is about that there is an option to change my karma. What does it mean, karma? Karma, it's like destiny. What is my destiny? So yes, if I did so many negative things, chances I will experience it, but the Kabbalah is saying we can change it.
Yeah.
And that's, again, another reason we teach Kabbalah.
If someone wants to take their first steps into Kabbalah, what would be a book or a website you can guide them to?
Today we offering few platforms. The best way to start will be Kabbalah Level 1. Really great course that we have in online, Kabbalah.com, is with the teacher David Guiam. And I would say just go and start, with this course. Very, very practical. Okay. Again, the Kabbalah Center offering full scholarship. If a person desire to study and they cannot afford it, contact Kabbalah.com. We're going to help. We're going to support. Another way to start, Michael and Monica Berg, their podcast that they share a lot of Kabbalah. We have the show of Elisheva Balas and David Guiam, on Monday,
weekly
right?
energy boost.
Weekly energy boost, which it's totally free. And if a person just want to taste, go ahead and taste. go to Kabbalah.com and read different articles, which is free, okay? Again, it's important to say that all the money that the Kabbalah Center collect, not only that we are not for profit, it's charitable, which means that as I said before, our purpose to help people to raise their level of consciousness, to get to, we call it human dignity. But again, to start that will be the best, the easy, I would say. Yeah. No.
Thank you. Brooke, do you have anything you want to add or ask?
No, this was wonderful. It was such a pleasure
Right.
talking with you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, David.
Great to get to know you, Brooke, and good to see you, Noah.
Thank you, David.
Good luck, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to share with you today. Really appreciate that.
Thank you so much,
Thank
and
you.
we'll see you soon. Bye.
Okay, bye. Thank you.